In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I went from 0 to 50,000 followers in 30 days. I'm going to be breaking down the exact organic content structures I use, how I make my videos, and how I go viral every single time. If you want to take your organic content seriously and build your personal brand going into 2025, take notes on this video because it's going to contain everything you need to get started. Make sure you subscribe for more value like this, and let's get straight into it. Welcome to this video. As I said in the intro, I'm going to be breaking down the exact systems and the exact things that I use to create organic content. These are the statistics, just so you know that I kind of know what I'm doing. 1.5 million accounts reached in the last 90 days. The reels, posts, stories, right, engagement, blah, blah, blah. These people tapped on the link in my bio, which obviously leads to conversions and obviously gaining followers as well. The way of creating content works, and it leads to sales, it leads to engagement, it leads to money in the door. I've been able to create a multi-5-figure info product off the back of this organic content. So let's dive straight into the strategy and how it kind of works. I've broken it down into 5 steps. Take notes on this video and you will see results. If you implement these 5 things, you will see results. You'll be able to start building up your personal brand organically, so you've got a good platform to launch a business off the back of. Let me make this full screen. There we go. Let's dive into step 1. The first part of your video, the hook, the first 1 to 3 seconds. And it's so important that you nail this because it's make or break. If people don't stop scrolling on your video, they don't watch it, consume the value, they don't move on to the next section of the customer journey. So how do we master it? There are 3 key elements. 1, the visual hook. This is obviously what you see in the first 1, 2, 3 seconds. Very important. Use bold visuals in those first 1 to 3 seconds. Some popular ones that I kind of use is dynamic movement. So I use a flashing transition. I'll show you an example in a second when I go through the 3 elements, but text on screen. So I'll have text moving in from the sides. If you've seen any of my reels, Sam Huxer on Instagram if you haven't, but text on the screen, dynamic movement, and lots of cuts. This is a super popular, super effective one when paired with the second element, all right? When you have the cuts, lots of cuts within the first 2 seconds, paired with sound effects, cooks. It's a really good one to use. I'll show you an example in a second. Second element is the audio hook. Leverage trending sounds, what people are listening to at the moment, what's got them hooked, sharp sound effects. I like to use the Iron Man repulsor sound effect. Again, I'll show you an example in a moment. Or an engaging voiceover to immediately catch attention. So what you say can stop the scroll as well. And then finally is the text hook. So open with a compelling question written on the screen. This is what's actually written on the screen as opposed to what you're saying. Open with a question, controversial statement, bold promise. One thing that I like to do is use niche relevant keywords. So if you can create a reel for a specific target market and they're seeing words that are niche relevant to them, it's going to stop their scroll more than just a more broad general hook. So the verbiage you use in the text is very important as well. Focus on their key pain points or curiosity triggers to keep them watching. And you'll know this based on your niche and your sort of target avatar that you've come up with, all right? So when you combine these 3 elements, you've got the visuals, you've got the audio, and you've got the text hook. It should look a little something like this. Let me find an example. Ooh. So here's an example of my best performing reel, and you can see a combination of that visual hook, the text hook, and the audio hook at the same time. So let me play it. So trending audio, sound effects right at the start, lots of quick cuts in the first 2 seconds, and niche relevant keywords. So dominate your niche in 30 seconds, okay, niche relevant keywords. Cool, now we've got that locked on. Mastering our hooks, those are the 3 elements you want to be focusing on. Pick some sharp sound effects as well, I can't stress that enough. I use this Iron Man one, but like clicks and risers and stuff like that, use them at the start, they're great. Moving on to second step, structuring the content. How do we keep people engaged the whole way through? How do we keep them watching from start to finish? 3-part formula, again. And one of the steps is actually a 7-step framework, but I'll show you how that works. So the actual structure of the video, it should be 5-part, really. 5-part formula. Hook, promise, call to action, value, call to action. What do I mean by that? I mean that obviously we want to put our hook in there, so we've been over the hook already. We then want to create a promise. So there's a reason for someone to keep watching the video. So for example, by the end of this video, you're going to understand how I create organic content and how I get 1.5 million views every month. That's the promise. That's what you're sticking around for. That's why you're watching this video. That's what you want to learn. Call to action. I gave you a little one at the start. Follow my Instagram if you haven't already. I've slipped in that little call to action. See, it works for YouTube as well, but we want to apply this to all of our content, our short form as well. Now I'm providing you the value. I'm running through these 5 steps. And spoiler alert, at the end, there's going to be another small call to action. So this is the 5-part formula what you want to be following for your content: hook, promise, call to action, direct your traffic somewhere else, value, give them what they came for, deliver on your promise, and then give them another call to action. All right. 3 tips down here for engagement hacking, having actually engaging content. All right. I'm going to make this full screen. No. Pacing. You don't want to speak slowly. People don't like listening to slow speakers. You want to get good at delivering value quickly and avoiding unnecessary fluff. Bear in mind that your reels should be, if they're talking head reels, anywhere between sort of 30 seconds and a minute. Anything over that is too much and too long. Short form content, it means short form attention. People aren't waiting around forever to kind of learn something. It's not long form. So deliver value fast, avoid unnecessary fluff. Every second matters. So every line that you're kind of writing down and delivering, think, does it actually contribute to the objective of the video? Is it relevant? Like, make sure that your pacing is relevant and everything you're saying is relevant as well. Micro storytelling. This is a great way to keep people engaged and kind of introduce more of these elements throughout the video. So creates emotional resonance. Yes, right. So this is the 7-step story brand framework, popularized by Donald Miller, but I use it all the time in my content. Within the first sort of few seconds of any sort of talking head video, this is more relevant for talking head videos. People should understand who the hero is, who this video is targeted at, who it's supposed to help, the problem that you're going to be solving. Position yourself as the guide. So why should I listen to this person? Why should I listen to you? What's your social proof? How are you going to deliver on this problem? How are you going to solve this problem? They should know what the plan's going to be. They should have a call to action, so they should know how to do it. And then they should also know, is it going to stop them from doing? What failure is it going to help them to avoid? And what is it going to help them to achieve in the end? So a simple way of doing this is, for example, off the top of my head, are you, content creators, are you struggling to create content that gets above 1,000 views? Straight away, you've identified the hero, the problem, and the avoided failure. Follow this 3-step framework, and you will never follow this 3-step framework that I used to gain 1.5 million views last month so that you can become a 6-figure personal brand. There, you have given them a guide, you position yourself as the guide, you've given them a plan, you've given them a call to action, and you've given them their dream result, all within the first 2 lines. If you can do this, and again, I'll go into more detail on this on another video, but you want to let them know who it's targeted at, so the problem that it's going to fix, why you're the person to fix that problem, what the plan is to fix the problem, the call to action, and the avoided failure, and what's going to happen if they do fix this problem. All of these elements are super important. And again, down here, this kind of fits in with pacing. Deliver value quickly, avoid unnecessary fluff. We can cut out all pauses. So when you're recording, you don't have to stress about speaking quickly. You can deliver it calmly, smoothly, and then cut out the pauses afterwards and keep transitions snappy. So there's no gaps between speech, so that you don't have to be worrying that people are going to scroll between your sentences. So that's the structure for the video there. Hook, promise, call to action, value, call to action. We want to make sure that our target avatar understands these 7 elements within the first few seconds. All right, micro storytelling. Pacing, we want to be as quick as possible. You can tell I've kind of practiced the art of speaking quickly, so maybe I'm a little bit too quick now, but any pauses that I have, I'll be cutting out in post so that it is consistent and it's snappy and you guys are getting the information quickly. Perfect. Hook's done. Structure done. On to the 3rd step. Standing out in the scroll. 3 key ways that I kind of develop my visual style with my content, that I attribute a lot of the success of my content to, is with these 3 things. Text effects. So I use this font here, Apple Garamond, and I use New Grotesque 65 medium, if any of you are interested. This is one that my editor has been experimenting with recently with the color effects. We want to use dynamic, bold fonts. We want to use movement with our text. Okay, we want to use emphasis on color. Right? Make it easy to read, make it clean, make it consistent. Okay, be using the same fonts from reel to reel. Okay? But having text effects is going to help you to stand out, and it's going to help you to brand your content uniquely. All right. B-roll and overlays. Okay. You've heard of the fan effect. The fan effect is where you use clips from popular media like anime, right? I use a lot of anime clips, or from movies, or from any sort of popular media, pop culture references. That's a great way to stand out in the scroll. B-roll, so for example, me in a Spider-Man costume, stops the scroll to some degree. We've got this nice up as well. Use that as B-roll, okay? We want B-roll to kind of illustrate the points we're talking about and allow us to make more cuts and switch up the visuals more frequently, okay? Pop culture references also create a layer of familiarity and relatability that you can't maybe get with your own B-roll as well. So film a bank of your own B-roll and have that to use, okay? Stuff like your setup, stuff like you doing other things, and then also harness the power of the fan effect and use B-roll from popular movies, popular shows, etc. Okay. Then finally, I can really illustrate this one with a screenshot, but zooms and transitions. Okay. One rule I have when I'm editing content is never have a static shot. So even when I'm doing these Mario boards, I'm constantly moving the camera, I'm constantly moving this, right? I'm zooming in, zooming out. But if you watch any of my reels, find an example. Where are ya? Where are ya? Let's have a look at. By
the end of 2024, personal branding as we know it will be completely
still. It's never stationary, okay? Things are constantly moving. There's never a still moment. There's always something popping up, okay? Super important to me to allow you to maintain attention and make sure that no one is scrolling halfway through. That's not what we want. This is an extreme, okay? I don't want to diss people or be calling anyone out, but the 3D effects can get too much, like the editing can get too much and actually take away from the value you're trying to convey, okay? So don't overdo it. Don't edit every last second and every last visual that you possibly can, okay? Don't overdo it, but make sure that it's maintaining attention. You're editing for retention. The visual should complement, not overwhelm the points you're making. Structure of the video is completed. Storytelling elements completed there. Standing out, visual style, basics completed there. Staying relevant and staying up to date with trends. Staying relatable and visible is super key when you're creating content in terms of longevity for your personal brand, all right? First one, trending sounds, okay? We're up to date with what music is working, what people are listening to. It can really help. Like sometimes I watch reels just because of the sound, just because of the music, because I'm vibing to it, even if I have no interest in what they're telling me. Incorporate popular audio tracks to boost discoverability. I'm not 100% sure about that and whether it works, but some people swear by some audios being pushed more than others, okay? Discoverability, boost people staying on your reel and being interested in it, okay, because of this interesting music. I'm gonna leave a link to my editing playlist below, the Creatorpreneur editing playlist, where you can have access to all the tunes that I like to use. There's a bit of a rogue mix in there. For example, we got a bit of Travis Scott, we got a bit of Declan McKenna, we got a bit of we got a bit of all sorts in there. So there's music in there to use with your reels as well. I'm going to be adding more sort of trending music to it as well. Formats, staying relevant. Adapt trending formats to your niche and make them unique. Okay, for example, these video carousels have been killing it for me at the moment. So whether it's reels, whether it's photos, whether it's carousels, video carousels, okay, these different formats can crush it in your niche. So, and even it could be the format of the kind of reel you're doing. For example, is it interview reels? Is it podcast clip style reels? Is it talking head reels? Is it trending audio reels? You know, these different formats, try these different kind of styles of content, stay relevant, stay fresh, keep updating your style, okay? Yeah, you never know. For example, I started posting these video reels, video carousels, and they started popping off, so you never know, okay? And again, cultural tie-ins, reference viral events, memes, or relevant pop culture moments. This fella has been everywhere at the moment, this chill guy, who's been everywhere. So people have been using them in their content, and it's been doing well as a result, okay? But a tip here is to act fast, because things like trending audios, formats, and this guy have a short lifespan. So consistency is key, and staying up to date with these trends is also key, which is annoying because it means you have to scroll and you have to spend time there. Sadly, this fella won't be for much longer. Good news for some of you, but I quite like him. Number 5, the important part. How do we harness this traffic that we're generating with our organic content and turn it into conversions, okay? So comments and engagement. Okay, so to actually get people to engage with our content so that they feel connected to it, and then they're more likely to open some organic conversations in the DMs or actually buy from us in the future. So we want to encourage specific questions. So for example, what's the number one struggle you have with your content at the moment? It's going to get them to open up. And a response, for example, if they comment below one of my reels and say, I'm really struggling with editing, or I'm really struggling with creating my offer, or I'm really struggling with scaling or running paid ads, okay? They comment that below the reel, my DM setter, now we'll reach out to them, target that pain point, get them to hop on a call, get them to cop one of the lower ticket products, okay? Full, you can do this with stories as well, okay? You get an understanding of where your audience is at, specifically from person to person, and target their pain points with your marketing, with your content, and with your direct messages, all right? Finally, value exchange. This is something that is Creatorpreneur at the moment. Value exchange, reciprocity, okay? Something in return like a free guide, cheat sheet, or exclusive content. Lead magnets, essentially, okay? Getting really low ticket or free products out to our audience to get them in the gateway for our offer. Giving them free products, and in return, they will consume your products, they'll engage with your content more, okay? You can actually drive conversions by giving away free stuff. And I'm gonna go over this more in detail in a future video, but if you wanna learn more about it, drop me a DM and I'll give you some free resources. Again, at Sam Huckster on Instagram. And a clear call to action. Clear call to action. Always guide your audience. You'd be surprised how many people just don't take action at all if you don't tell them to. So a lot of people will watch reels. I think it's about 80-70% of people will watch reels and don't engage with them at all, okay? To tell your audience in your content what to do next. Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to DM you? Do you want them to comment a keyword so they can get a lead magnet? Do you want them to swipe onto your profile and click the link in your bio? What do you want them to do? Make it clear, make the call to action clear. Okay, this video, DM me for more tips, all right? Make the CTA simple and frictionless, focus on one action per video, all right? And I know I said to do 2 call to actions up here, all right? But the main call to action should be this one at the end, right? You should be telling people to drop you a DM, and maybe this one at the start can be share this with a friend or save this for later, okay? So a bit less actually actionable, okay? So we've been through this kind of roadmap, right? We've got our hooks, we know what to do with our hooks, we know how to structure our content, we know how to make ourselves visually stand out as well, we know how to stay relevant using things like trending audios and formats, right? And we know how to drive conversions from this traffic that we're going to be generating, okay? Something that's key is that we stay iterative with this process. I always tell people within Creator that nothing is ever static. You never want a static business, you never want a static personal brand, you never want a static anything, right? So you need to be consistently iterating, taking feedback from your content and implementing it into your new content. So let's say you, oh goodness me, let's say you do a chill guy meme and it flops. You know your audience doesn't like that meme stuff, or you do it a couple of times and it doesn't work out, right? You start doing video carousels and they start doing really well, so you start to implement them more, okay? You start making content about a certain topic and it starts to perform really well, okay? We can start to implement that more in the future. Stay iterative, listen to what your audience wants, listen to what they're enjoying, and then start to tweak your content and your strategy and your topics for content as you go, all right? Now, what I want you guys to understand is that organic content is one piece of the puzzle when it comes to nailing this online contentpreneurship space, all right? So if you want to become a 6-figure content creator, earning 10K a month plus from your creator business, building a cult audience, and having time, location, financial freedom, right? You need all these other pieces of the puzzle, okay? So you need a strong offer, you need a strong product, you need to understand the foundations of your personal brand, how to bring in leads, how to master multiple platforms, okay? How to sell, how to scale, how to use paid traffic, and everything that comes within these modules, okay? Email, etc. All right? So this is one piece of the puzzle. This isn't even one piece of the puzzle. This is one piece of the puzzle, okay? So if you guys want to understand a little bit more in depth how you can master this contentpreneurship stuff, how you can kind of make an info product and scale to multiple 5 figures like I have, and scale to hundreds of thousands, not quite, but tens of thousands of followers, getting millions of views every single month, okay? There's going to be a link below in the description, which is going to tell you exactly what you can do. You can book in a call with me, you can hop on Creatorx, and we will guide you through this roadmap on exactly how to achieve those goals, all right? That's the only plug I'm going to push. If you want more content like this, obviously drop a subscribe. Check out my Instagram at Sam Huckster. It will be in the description as well. And I'll see you next Sunday. Peace. Hope you got some value out of this video.